Hey guys, I hope you're doing well today. Today is a very exciting video because this is going to be my Pan That Palette finale. I've been panning my Urban Decay Naked palette since I think mid-December, and I believe I had around maybe 8 or 10 shadows to use up. I kind of forget. I will leave the exact number of shadows to use up down here, and I will let you guys know my thoughts on this palette, what I've used up, what I've disliked, liked about the palette, etc. So let's get into the video. First, I'm going to show you my picture from my last update, so I'll insert that picture now. And here is my empty Naked palette. It feels so good to finish this palette. I've had it for around 3 years, and it's been a really good palette to me. But anyway, I finished Hustle in the last month. I had a little bit left, probably from here up. And I did repress the shadow this month to use it up a little bit faster. I just used it on my outer corner. The one time I used it all over my lid with ColourPop Birthday Cake on top, and it was so pretty. It made the Birthday Cake shadow from ColourPop look more purpley because it's normally pink, and it was gorgeous. I'm kind of sad I can't do that layering technique anymore, but I'm sure I can find dupable shadows in my collection. So this palette is empty. In my intro video, I had already finished Virgin, Sin, Half Baked, and Naked, and I had pan on several other shadows. I did not finish Creep or Gunmetal. I crushed out the shadows because I did not want to use them. Creep and Gunmetal were just not flattering for my skin tone. Gunmetal was like a bluey kind of gray color. It was shimmery with some glitter chunks. Creep was just a shimmery black color. It was very muddy on my eyes, and it just did not look that good, so I crushed those shadows up, but I did use up every other shadow in this palette. So I'm going to go through the shadows that I really liked in this palette. I think the standout for me was Half Baked. Half Baked was a nice gold color. I liked Buck and Naked mixed together, but separately, I didn't really love them that much. Naked was a little bit too light for me sometimes, and Buck was a little bit too dark, but mixed together, they were perfect. I also like mixing those colors together as a contour shade. Sin was also really pretty, but I used it up like around 2 years ago, so I don't really remember it that much. It was really gorgeous, though. I did not like Smog in this palette. Smog was just very dull on my skin tone. It didn't look as pretty as it did in the pan. For Hustle was fine. It wasn't a very standout shade to me. It was like a purpley brown color. Toasted was pretty, but I have other similar colors that leave more of like a bang on my eyes than that one did. Dark Horse was okay. I liked it better than Hustle. And Sidecar was also really pretty. I did not have the problems with the glitter fallout. Some days I applied a little bit too much and I did get fallout, but the glitter didn't go all over my face. Even throughout the day it didn't either. And Virgin was pretty. I used it as a face highlight a lot of the time when I did have that eyeshadow. Again, I probably used it up like 2 years ago, so can't really say how much I remember that much of it. But I did complete 10 out of the 12 eyeshadows in this eyeshadow palette. I put on some lights in my room, so I'm not sure how much of a difference that made, but hopefully it improved it a little bit. So now I'm going to go over what I liked and what I disliked about the palette. I disliked the packaging. I don't like the velvet packaging. I feel like it kind of looks kind of gross sometimes. Like, I've had this for a few years, so obviously it's going to get pretty gross, and it attracts a bunch of lint. So as you can see right here, kind of looks like some pieces are falling off. There's some lint that just came off. So the packaging, not a fan of. The mirror was decent. It could be a little bit bigger considering there is some space right here, but it was fine. I did use it when I was on vacation if I didn't have a mirror. I did like the formula of most of the shimmer shades, like Half Baked, Sin, and Virgin, and I did like Sidecar. Wasn't my absolute favorite shadow formula ever, but those shadows were really nice in the palette. Buck was extremely smooth, and so was Naked. So the only two mattes in that palette did have a nice formula. Everything else was just kind of meh. I could take it or leave it in this palette. So I didn't love all the shadows. I did like the first half of the palette from Half Baked on, the lighter shades, and then the dark half I didn't really love that much. So overall, I would recommend this palette if you want to try it. It's a good beginner palette. It's a good classic palette with a nice formula, but I do think there's other better palettes out there. I just got the Jaclyn Hill palette. Love it. The Too Faced Natural Love palette is good if you want more natural colors. You didn't want super smoky looks, but you can get there. It just depends on your preference. I do have other eyeshadows that I like better than this. But for $54, I feel like you want to make sure you like all of the colors. Thankfully, this was a gift, so I didn't have to pay for it. If I had known what I know today about what I like from palettes, I probably wouldn't have purchased this because I really only loved half of the shades, and for $54 for 6 shadows. I don't think that's worth it. So that's just my thoughts on this Urban Decay Naked palette. I'm going to give you one last look at the empty palette. I'm very happy this is done. I do feel like I got my money's worth. I'm still putting this in my Makeup Empties Excel spreadsheet as $54. I don't care that I didn't use up these 2 shades because I feel like I got my money's worth otherwise from 10 shadows. I think that's all I have to say about the Naked palette. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my Pan That Palette videos, whether you've been here for just a couple days or you've been here for years. I really appreciate your support. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I do plan on doing a giveaway on this channel at 3,200 subscribers, and I do have some really cool products in there. So subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.